SKOL Vikings, let's win this game.
Attention Vikings fan, get ready because today's episode is packed with spectacular news. The NFL winds are blowing strong toward Minnesota and the pieces moving on the chessboard promise nights filled with pure emotion. There's tension behind the scenes, expectation on the field, and revelations even before the first whistle blows. 4 hot headlines, 4 stories shaking up the start of this season. You won't believe what we've got today. Welcome. Support your Vikings community with a like and a comment. It's impossible to talk about season openers without that nervous pit in your stomach, but when the subject is the Vikings' defense against Ben Johnson's offensive mind, the nerves turn into pure adrenaline. Flores knows this isn't just another matchup. He carries 4 straight losses against this same coach back when he was in Detroit, and in all of them the defense gave up 30 points. That weighs heavy. That burns. It feels like every snap is a trial by fire to prove this story won't repeat against the Chicago Bears. Now the equation has changed. Ben Johnson doesn't have Jared Goff anymore, the king of the quick game who shredded blitzes like it was practice. Now he's got Caleb Williams, a quarterback who can improvise, extend plays, use his legs, and still drop bombs when cornered. Picture that mobility combined with weapons like DeAndre Swift in the backfield, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze in the wide receiver group, plus 2 solid tight ends in Kmet and Loveland. It's dynamite spread all over the field, ready to explode at the slightest mistake by Minnesota's defense. Flores admitted it. There's no crystal ball. He doesn't know exactly what Johnson is cooking up, but he knows it'll be disguised, full of the illusion of complexity, that trick that fools the eye and multiplies options out of one single look. That's when the game turns into chess. It's not enough to just draw up aggressive blitzes. It takes flawless communication, clean technique, proper footwork, strong hands, and absolute discipline for 60 minutes. One slip, and Caleb turns it into a highlight against us. What leaves the fan base with their hearts in their throats is that uncertainty. Can the Vikings defense finally shut down Johnson? Has Flores found the antidote for this offensive riddle? Many believe yes, that the defense's new, more physical, more cohesive identity could be the difference maker, but others still carry the trauma of those 30 points allowed and are holding back to see if this story really changes. Let's move to the next headline. If there's one player walking into this season with the weight of the world on his shoulders, it's TJ Hockenson. To many, it looks like he's under contract until 2027, but reality is very different. The salary cap math doesn't forgive. In 2025, the tight end already has one of the biggest cap hits at his position, and the following year, that number skyrockets to nearly unmanageable levels. It's simple. Either he proves he still belongs among the elite, or the Vikings will have to completely rethink his future in Minnesota. And that's where J.J. McCarthy comes in. The rookie holds the key to putting Hockenson back in the spotlight. Back in Michigan, McCarthy loved throwing to his tight ends, using quick passes over the middle to relieve pressure. That could be TJ's salvation because he needs volume, yards, and especially touchdowns to justify the investment. And he admitted it himself. Last year, coming back from injury, he never felt 100%. 10 games, almost 500 yards, but not a single trip to the end zone. For a player of his caliber, that's borderline unacceptable. The fans know it too. Many see Hockenson as vital, the safety valve that keeps the offense running. Others, however, are starting to ask, is it worth paying that much for someone who didn't produce like expected? What no one disputes is that 2025 is, in truth, a contract year disguised as a final test. If he proves he's still among the best tight ends in football, the Vikings will rush to extend him before 2026. If not, they could save millions and move on. The drama is real, and the pressure grows with every practice, every reporter asking about his future. TJ looks more focused than ever, incorporating new training methods, fine-tuning his body to regain the explosion he lost in 2024. But will it be enough? Only the games will tell. The big question is, how far can Hockenson and McCarthy build the kind of chemistry that not only saves the offense, but also secures the tight end's future in Minnesota? But wait, because what comes next is even more unbelievable. Picture this. Monday Night Football, the lights blazing in Chicago, and there he is, J.J. McCarthy, wearing purple and gold, ready to live the moment he's been waiting for his whole life. For any quarterback, a debut is intense. Now imagine doing it against the team you grew up cheering for, in a stadium just minutes from your hometown, carrying the weight of leading a roster with Super Bowl dreams. It sounds like a movie, but it's exactly the reality for the Vikings' new QB. McCarthy spent over a year preparing for this. After a brutal knee injury wiped out his rookie preseason, he dove into the grind, studied defenses, learned every detail of the playbook, absorbed Kevin O'Connell's philosophy. The kid drafted as the future now arrives, saying he's never been this prepared in his life, And it's not just talk. He studied every move of Dennis Allen, the Bears' new defensive coordinator, searching for any clue to gain an edge. But here's the point. McCarthy doesn't need to play the hero. He himself said the secret is keeping things simple, focusing on execution, trusting his teammates. It sounds basic, but that mindset could make him an immediate difference maker. With Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and soon Jordan Addison as weapons, plus TJ Hawkinson hungry for redemption, McCarthy has an elite arsenal around him. He just needs to stay calm, present, and not get swallowed up by the moment. And of course, there's the emotional part. Playing so close to where he grew up against the team of his childhood is naturally special. But McCarthy was clear. His home is now Minnesota, and this trip is nothing more than business. That's the cold mindset of someone who understands the NFL doesn't forgive emotional slip-ups. He wants to prove not only to Chicago but to the whole country, under the primetime lights, that the Vikings made the right choice in the draft. The nerves are massive, the adrenaline is already pumping, but McCarthy insists, focus on the present, one play at a time. And while everyone's buzzing with anticipation, hold on, because the next headline shakes the soul of every Vikings fan like few stories ever have. Sometimes you hear a prediction and your heart skips a beat. That's what happened when Jamie Erdahl, host of Good Morning Football and a diehard Minnesota fan, went live on national TV and said this. She believes the Vikings are finally going to win their first Super Bowl. And not only that, the matchup in her prediction would be against the Denver Broncos, the rival we should have faced back in 1998 in that season with 15 wins when Gary Anderson missed the kick that changed our memories forever. Just imagine the catharsis of that rematch almost 3 decades later. Erdahl went further. She reminded everyone how that loss to the Falcons robbed us of a historic clash between two heavyweights. Now, with J.J. McCarthy leading Minnesota and Bo Nix guiding Denver, the stage could finally be set for a showdown of strong defenses and promising offenses. More than that, it would be a chance to heal old wounds, because on the other sideline would be Sean Payton, the same coach forever tied to Bountygate, the scandal that crushed our dreams in 2009 against Brett Favre's Vikings. It feels like destiny offering the chance to settle 2 scores at once. Her speech hit deep not just for the analysis but for the raw honesty. She told how, as a kid, she cried her heart out in January of 1999, believing she'd never see the Vikings lift the Lombardi. And now, wearing a number 9 McCarthy jersey, she said this could be the year when the sound of the Gjallar horn echoes in February, signaling the franchise's ultimate redemption. Just picturing it, U.S. Bank Stadium roaring, Vikings fans across the world releasing decades of frustration in one collective scream of victory is enough to give anyone chills. Of course, opinions are split. Some fans are fired up, seeing this as national recognition that hasn't happened in ages. Others prefer to stay grounded, remembering how many times we've been close only to fall short. But one thing is certain, when even respected voices start believing, something feels different in the air. And if Jamie Erdahl herself, with her lifelong scars as a fan, says this is the year, who are we not to believe too? One thing is crystal clear. The Vikings aren't stepping into 2025 as underdogs, but as true contenders in an epic journey. Brian Flores carries the weight of strategy. Hawkinson is fighting for his future. McCarthy is making his long-awaited debut. And even national predictions point toward that ultimate goal of reaching the mountaintop. The destiny is right in front of us, and every detail matters. But none of this makes sense without the energy of the fans. Now's the time to support, to question, to debate, because this journey doesn't end here. Which headline grabbed your attention the most, and what other moves does this team still need to make? Drop a comment, share this video, and hit that subscribe button for all the latest Vikings updates. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go!